boy, oh boy. I don't usually get to cover this kind of stuff, and I know some people hate the Glens and the Becks of the world, but very seldom do we get. He does these hour-long and half-hour-long fucking specials, and very seldom does he put out small clips of these, right? And so I just don't do them because it's a waste of fucking time, right? Anyways, this look at him. He's not in front of his blackboard, which I feel disappointed about. He is, for all the money they have at this fucking studio, he is in front of 4 TV screens shoved together to make a giant fake screen, which I gotta say, kind of cheap, kind of shitty. Yeah. I mean, weathermen have a bigger green screen that they can just operate in front of without this fucking. It looks like you're targeting Des Moines, Iowa. It looks like it's like you've got a target on. You're trying to nuke Iowa. I don't know why. Hard to say. Anyways, so this is, and I gotta say, there are 2 things I really like in these videos when we see them. One is when they tell us what we're thinking. You know what I mean? This is what liberals really think about you. I love that one. I love those. I love being told what I think because, honest to God, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking half the time. Thank God there's the Glenn Becks and the Jesse Waters and the Greg Gutfelds and the fucking Greg Kellys to come in and go, this is what you're thinking. And I go, oh, good. Right. I know when I hear them say that, I often will go, that's weird. It kind of sounds like what you're thinking. Kind of sounds like a version of your perfect world, just with the roles reversed. Does that make sense? Okay, so, but this is almost a show. But let's jump in here. And by the way, I know that's the only way I can answer this one. Glenn Beck exposes the globalist plan to flood America with migrants. Well, it was about time. I was checking my watch. I know you were. You're like, when is he going to expose the globalist plot to flood America with migrants? When will that happen? And lucky you, lucky me. Here we are, together again. Sorry if this is loud. I'll see you.
Now, for the global elite.
It's very loud. Okay.
It's mass illegal migration.
Okay, so he jumps straight into this shit. This is a clip. So they obviously, clearly, I mean, I didn't watch the whole special because they're not giving me the opportunity to. They put this clip together. They didn't put a title on the front of it. They've basically thrown any production value right in the shitter, right in the shit hole, right in shit, and where it's comfortable, and the blaze. And so he's just going to jump straight in. And I'm going to assume, like most of you, that the sentence right before this was the second dumbest thing he has ever said in his fucking life, and they had to cut it out. The number 1 dumbest thing is going to be in this video, clearly, because you keep the good stuff.
Now, for the global elites, mass
Jews, I guess. You mean Jews? Are we talking Jews? Pretty sure he means Jews. Jews and Klaus Schwab.
Illegal migration is about 2 things.
Okay. Mass illegal migration, not asylum seekers. Glad you're making that distinction. Is about 2 things. First,
they want to flood developed countries with unsustainable levels of migrants to even out the top GOP earning countries in the world, you know?
Oh, shit. All right. I gotta, no. First of all, no. They're not taking they're not sending all the dumb people out of countries to the smart countries so that everybody's got an equal IQ. And they're not doing that financially either. That's just fucking stupid. That's not even the talking point. This is totally, migrants work very hard. This is just idiotic. But this is not even the main fucking talking point, right? This is and GDP, by the way, the top GDP earning countries is what he's saying. flood developed countries to even out the top GDP earning countries. Okay, well, according to Glenn Beck, China's eating our lunch and kicking our ass while they eat our lunch. It must be the whole kung fu thing. And so I guess they're being flooded. The World Economic Forum is flooding China with migrants, are they? Is that that's happened? It's not happening. All right. Their motive obviously is to because if you bring brown people in, what's going to happen is your country will become weaker, dumber, and poorer because it's just natural to them. That's what Glenn is saying because he's fucking awful.
Our standards have to go down, and the exceptional have to become, I don't know, kind of meh.
Is that what happened to you? Is that what happened, Glenn? Is that what you perceived happened to you? Because I gotta say, you've always been meh.
Not exceptional. Second, and as I
also such fucking. By the way, I gotta say, you guys know I'm not a purist about this kind of thing, and I think there are a lot of people who cross the border illegally, and they are here illegally because they are doing illegal things, and they're not doing the nice things, and they're not seeking asylum, and they're actually crossing the border to sell drugs or do awful or as economic migrants, and they're trying to jump the line on other people who are economic migrants who are just as desperate as they are, but they're in another country trying to get a visa on the other side of the fucking ocean, and because of physical proximity, they're trying to muscle their way ahead of those people, and there's only a limited number of people we can take, so they get ahead of it, and that's not fair. And there are other people who are, like I said, just as much dire straits, and fucking the Yemens of the world who would be perfectly wonderful as an American citizen, but they can't get in because we're over quota because of the people from South America who can walk here. Now, that said, asylum seekers are not those people, and family units with family already here are not that. It gets to be, once you start paring it down, it gets to be a very narrow group in this that you really have to worry about. But what I will say is when you talk about exceptional, anybody who will walk 1,000 fucking miles for a manual labor job is fucking exceptional. Especially if they're sending half their goddamn paycheck back home to the people who couldn't make the trip. I gotta say, pound for pound, that's pretty fucking exceptional. Yeah? Right? I mean, certainly that person is exerting more effort, drive, focus, and care for their family than this bloated asshole. Yeah? All right. Just so we're clear.
As I alluded before the break, there is a crap load of money involved.
Okay. You mean the corporations that take advantage of illegal migrants and pay them under the table and undermine the wages of people who actually live here, and also keep them under control by seizing their passports or whatever identification they have, and threaten to turn them into ICE if they don't work for shit in a sweatshop? And that kind of money? Is that what you're talking about? Because that concerns me. Is that what concerns you, Glenn Beck? I'm going to guess not.
Especially if you're a corrupt FBI head or defense secretary in Mexico.
Okay, first of all, I don't know how much say we have about corrupt defense secretaries of Mexico. It's another country's government. I guess they have their own problems. The FBI head? What the fuck are you talking about? You think these guys have like villas? You think Chris Wray, the Trump-appointed FBI head, has a fucking villa in Mexico where he goes by Captain Federales? We like to call him Mr. Federales. Senor Federales, would you like more pineapple in your Corona, you weird fuck who drinks it that way? We don't know. This is, by the way, how conversations play out between a person of Mexican descent in Glenn Beck's brain. This is how they talk.
How many more similar government officials are there in other countries. Surely not here.
All right, what the fuck are you talking about? Because Latin American dictatorships are corrupt? That makes Chris Wray on the take to the fucking cartels? What the fuck does this mean? Please explain your shit. 2, the mass amount of money involved? Do you think they're getting a kickback for the, like, do you think Guatemala's sending Chris Wray a fucking check for every person that sneaks through? What the fuck?
I mean, I'm just saying.
You're not saying anything. Both of your talking points don't make fucking sense. Shit.
You know?
No, I don't know. You don't know, and I don't know, and the audience doesn't know. Nobody knows. What the fuck are you talking about?
The money trail goes all the way to the top of the global elite society,
of which the FBI head is not. I think the dude's probably lucky if he could get a mortgage on an $800,000 house. Dude can't even run up debt because he'll lose his fucking job. Everybody in the FBI will lose their clearance if their loans get ahead of if they get out over their skis financially. What?
Did you know that January is World Economic Forum month?
Who gives? No, it isn't. It's when Davos is. It's not World Economic Forum month.
I'm still celebrating at home. I light a candle every night. And then they have some of the biggest.
I guess that's another reference to a bunch of Jews. Dude, don't make a fucking Hanukkah reference with the World Economic Forum with your fucking backhanded globalist anti-Semite shit.
Drivers for mass migration all over the world hemorrhaging from that organization. Back in June and the lead up to their current annual forum, the WEF said it was, quote, time to rethink migration. Who hasn't been saying that? But it wasn't, hey, let's rethink it because it might be destroying countries. Instead, it was, how can we double down?
Okay, it's stupid that he got up from his little chair and walked around behind it, but I'm glad, because anytime he's behind a piece of furniture, it's an improvement.
Down on this really exceptionally bad idea. The globalist.
Hold on. Why do I have to do this fucking homework right out of the goddamn gate? Time we rethink migration. Yeah. Okay. World Economic Forum. Here it is. This is the article. Boop. Weirdly enough, the picture he's got on there is just like a regular white title, but it's odd that it's China that's in the aging and longevity. Why it's time to rethink migration. I'm going to guess because we need workers because people are getting old in the first world countries and they're going to need nurses and shit like that. Okay. The working age population is high income and many middle income countries is shrinking. All right, WEF, you're not the World English Forum. I'll tell you that. Middle income countries are shrinking. Okay. This unprecedented demographic shift will see more countries turning to migrants to fill labor shortages. They're using the English spelling, and to me that looks like labor. The private sector will have an important role to play in ensuring the skills these migrants bring match those needed in the destination countries. It's time to rethink migration. Over much of the world, birth rates are plunging and populations are aging. This means that there will be fewer workers to support older people in growth, and this means that most countries will increasingly need to rely on migration. Making the most of migration through smart policies is essential for global development and prosperous future, and the private sector will play an important role in designing and supporting these smart policies. Okay, the United States already does this. So does Canada. So does Mexico at this point. The countries that they're addressing largely, even though this is a Chinese plane station, is Japan. Japan and South Korea. They're the ones who are going to need this, and they're the ones who are most averse to it. Bring in the private sector. Smart migration policies are about to strengthen the match of the migrant skills and attributes with the needs of the destination society so that everyone gains. Private sector can play an important role in ensuring a tight match and allowing migrants to contribute their full potential to the economy. Decent jobs generally lead to a smooth integration in the labor force and society. Employers can help policymakers identify and define labor needs. This is about work visas. This isn't about illegal migration at all. The private sector is also best place to facilitate knowledge transfers, like teaching people before they come in, hey, you want a job in our country? This is what we'll open up a nursing school or a fucking elder care learning facility in your country, and therefore come in, right? Yeah. And goes over. As countries age, there will be an increased competition for talent and workers and robots. The challenge for many countries and for many businesses is to attract people with the skills they need. The private sector can play an important role in that respect, attracting people with skilled labor. This is about visas. Glenn Beck is a fucking asshole. That's why he only showed the headline, by the way, just for the record.
Decided they needed to reframe the narrative. I love that.
That's not at all what that was about. That literally is not even about illegal migration or caravans or mass migration at all. It's about finding skilled labor throughout the world and being proactive in bringing skilled labor to the countries, which, by the way, would fill the quota of most countries' immigration systems, and therefore, as far as the volume they can handle every year, and then the other people, that might sneak in or try to get in on the periphery and say, hey, I can work, or we already got somebody, thank you very much, right?
And in doing so, they concentrated on economics and demographics. All a ruse just to enlist private businesses to partner with governments all over the world. Public-private partnership equals fascism.
Oh, well, that's simple enough. Shit. I always wondered what a good definition of fascism was, and it turns out it's public-private partnerships. Now, if I may, Glenn Beck, who is an asshole, let me see if I can look up what's a famous example recently, just something I can look at. Let's see. I'll go to this page, and let's see if I can find maybe something that happened in
they let us know
that was
that they'll
designed basically as a, hold on, let's see if I can bring this up, a famous public-private partnership.
In U.S. history, pioneering, developing, and manufacturing therapies and vaccines in record time, numbers like nobody's seen before. No medical breakthrough of this scope and magnitude has ever been achieved this rapidly, this quickly, and we're very proud of it, and had tremendous help from the military, generals, admirals, and many of the great people at the White House. Operation Warp Speed is...
Yep, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Captain's log. Operation Warp Speed, the single biggest, most touted part of the Republican bullshit fest they were doing. Where's this? Hold on one second. I've got where is the thing in me do? All right. It's in here, I guess. Oop, there we go. The public-private partnership is literally like, hey, we're gonna get Walmart, we're gonna get Moderna and Pfizer are gonna make the vaccines, and Walmart's gonna open up their parking lots, and CVS is gonna give you all the supplies, and the military's gonna show up, and you're gonna line up behind fucking army trucks and get a shot, which no maggot would ever say yes to for fucking at any point in their life. Like, there's no fucking way. How many Provigil did he take before that speech? Probably 20. I don't think he took nearly enough. I think everybody else in the White House was on it except him and Pence. I think they were taking advantage. I don't know necessarily. I think he's got his, I think the benzos were his, and maybe the ketamine at this point, whatever, and the morphine to get him to sleep. There was a let's see, one second. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. Yeah, there we go. And quick notes. I made quick notes earlier today because I thought this was kind of important, you know what I'm saying. Let me see. Let's just scroll down here to the very bottom. Okay. Let's see. We'll open this one. Yeah, there we go. I'll pull this out. There you go. How about this? Oh, and how about yeah, let's do this one. This is a good one too. I like this one. This is from Politico. This is when, remember when he was talking about infrastructure? Now, if you'll recall, Trump came out during his presidency when he was trying to get infrastructure done, and he fucked up and never got shit, because that's who he is and that's what he does. It just trying to let you know.
Here I am like an idiot.
So he he was touting the public-private partnerships all over the fucking place, right? That was one of the big things. Public-private partnerships and all this stuff. This was an article in Politico. Trump's infrastructure plan. How private will he go? Well, public-private partnerships can be a terrific idea, but there are pitfalls, as President Trump unveils elements of his infrastructure plan this week, which, if you'll recall, or you're watching this in the future after we have great infrastructure in this country because Joe Biden fucking fixed it, he didn't do shit. It didn't amount to a fucking hill of beans. Nothing, ever, nothing. Democrats are attacking it as a betrayal of basic government responsibilities. This privatization, as they call it, could sell out rural America and allow companies to exploit public assets like roads and bridges. But a close look at Trump's proposal, at least what we know of it so far, reveals a plan that rests not on privatization, but on... Glenn Beck. Oh, dear. Oh, my. Oh, boy. The two ideas sound familiar, but are actually very different. Yes, one is fascism, and the other is just kleptocracy. No, these are the choices Trump is left to make. These are, the better of two evils, as he likes to call them. It's critical to accomplish the goal of modernizing and upgrading America's infrastructure, which he did not do at all. They're proposed using $200 billion in federal monies to leverage an additional $800 billion from the private sector. It's an ambitious proposal, one that, if successful, could permanently change the landscape of America. Well, it wasn't, and he fucked around and was lazy and stupid, and nothing happened. Now, how public-private, and this is why it never happened, how public-private partnerships failed in the Trump administration. After Trump was elected, private equity firms rushed out to raise giant new infrastructure funds. It was a mistake. The idea was that the White House plan would lean heavily on public-private partnerships that leverage federal dollars with outside investment. Everything from bridge repairs to rural broadband to upgrading ports, airports, and highway rest stops. And wouldn't you know it, Joe Biden didn't need any of that shit to get we just passed the fucking bill and just actually funded it ourselves, and then had where you have private companies come in, they would be coming in to just actually do the work.
In another WEF article, with governments all over the world, public-private partnership equals fascism.
Okay, so I guess the breaking news is that, hi, Linda. The breaking news is that Glenn Beck just called Donald Trump a fascist. Yeah, that was easy. Huh. Took him long enough, don't you think? I don't think he's going to like this, Glenn. Especially when we cut this as a shorter video and pass it around, and everybody sees the fact that Glenn just called Donald Trump a fascist. Oops.
In another WEF article this month, they...
Oh, by the way, sorry, that's unfair. He didn't just call Trump a fascist. He also called him a globalist and a slave to the WEF, and probably one of Klaus Schwab's biggest ball garglers. I mean, I'm translating, of course, but that's basically it.
State that the IOM, that's the International Office of Migration from the UN, they said this cannot and should not do it alone. They cannot do it alone. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they don't have the right to. UN organizations cannot impose, they're the United Nations. They're not an over... By the way, Glenn, you do realize this is you knifing your own stupid fucking argument that the UN is a controlling body that puppets the governments of the world, and we're all just dancing to their tune. That's why they're saying this, because they can't do it without permission. They can't impose policies on any countries. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah. So we have the globalists at WEF pushing the mass movement populations all over the world. And
No, they're not. They're actually specifically in that article that you cited, you fucking asshole, pointing to the fact that you're going to need specifically skilled migrants, and you got to do something proactive to make sure that those are the people coming to your country, not just stampedes of randos. It's the exact opposite.
And they're enlisting private businesses to help them. And then they're working in parallel with the United Nations. Oh, boy. Come on, who else is involved? Tell me. Well, muckraker.com recently obtained actual maps that Doctors Without Borders supplies to their illegal migrants in South America. I may have misunderstood what kind of borders those doctors were talking about, but let's take a look at this map, because it shows rally and meetup points all the way down in Panama. Yeah, look at the different points going up through Costa Rica here in this great.
I got to say that since they can't stop the migrants, and a lot of these people are just walking, Doctors Without Borders, thinking proactively, sets up stations where they can get medical care, because blisters are a fucking beast when you're on that kind of a walk. Overall medical care, if you're bringing somebody with you, if you're carrying a child, you're like, now I know Glenn would hope that a Guatemalan family with an infant, if it develops some sort of a cough or whatever, will just, take that as the price of the big march and chuck it into the fucking canal, as you do. But the Doctors Without Borders folks, because they don't give a shit about borders, are saying, we don't care where they're going or why they're going. We just don't want them to die while it's happening. What they do when they get here is on you. As a matter of fact, the phones that they provide at those places could very well give them a ride back home if they give up on this as much as they do it going forward. But then, sorry, this is, who am I to judge the great Christian man, Glenn Burke. Blech.
It shows where illegals can find hotels and food, the entire route.
Right, so they don't sleep outside with a child and it gets whooping cough and dies. So they don't get raped. Weird. It's almost like that's their mandate in the world. Is that their whole thing is keeping, first of all, doing no harm would be the yeah.
Now, doctor, who's paying for this stuff?
Well, guilty as charged. Me. This is my fault. Yeah, it is. Hold on one second. Let's see if I can bring it. Whoops, hold on. Whoops. Okay. Let's see where I rank. I'll bring this down to you. 10 best Celebrity Jeopardy contestants ever. I made the top 10, guys. That's cool. Number 10, Andy Richter. Pat Sajak. John Berman did very well. Mo Rocca. We love Mo. Michael McKeon. There's no picture of Michael. I don't know why. Jane Curtin, who's lovely. Oh, there he is. Why is he on there twice? There's Michael McKeon and then Michael McKeon again. Oh, because he was there twice, maybe? Chris Matthews. Hey, look at that guy. Hal Sparks, 32,000. Of course, folk star Hal Sparks went up against Trading Spaces host Paige Davis, who hated me, by the way, and Julie Bowen, who at the time was starring in the love interest show NBC's Ed. It was a tremendously close contest, with Sparks hitting 2 of the 3 daily doubles. Bowen going 4 to 5 on the Oscars category Double Jeopardy. Bowen had the lead going into the final. A question about the Queen Mary, but Sparks bet everything he had, and Bowen bet too timidly, and thus was able to leapfrog her and take the win. And look at that young guy. Look at him. Look, he's just a kid. He's a little sprite. Anybody have any idea where I gave my money? Because I didn't take the like 32 is after taxes. The winning pot was $50K for your charity. Anybody know where it went? Does anybody know what my charity was? Hey, look at that. Physicians Sans Frontières. I have aged a bit. I finally have a jaw. That's for one thing. I think that's the thing. That's the one thing, like, you know, like I don't think I've I don't look any, you know, I still have the same lines in my forehead that I had it then. Those are comedy lines, right? Right? But I, you know, for the most part, I'm holding it together. Yeah? He's a good kid. He's a good kid. He's all right. And it's good that they let me lean this way because you can't see that my ears are different heights. See this? I got one ear right down here and one ear up here. It's why a long hair helps. And if I tilt my head a certain way, you can't tell. Yeah. So, anyways, I kicked ass and Paige Davis fucking hated me because I slaughtered her. And then I beat Bowen at the end because she was close to me. But I believed it. I knew I had the answer right. So, anyways, I think it was like it was simple. It was like Howard Hughes, some shit like that. Anyways, it's been a while. But yeah, so anyways, I'm in the top 10 best Celebrity Jeopardy contestants ever. How about that? Yeah? Oh, there we go. So, insofar as, so it's my fault. I'm just saying. I think, feel free to at me, Glenn, because I personally am responsible for $50,000 in the pocket of Physicians Sans Frontières. I mean, Musicians Sans Frontières would be great. And Magicians Sans Frontières is dangerous because those magicians are fucking crazy. Let's just be honest. Also, let's see. While we're at it, just saying. Learn CPR, kids. I can't keep fucking doing this all by myself. This guy was a Guatemalan immigrant. I myself am I think I qualify as a physician sans frontiere on my own. There you go. According to witnesses, Sparks rushed to the man's aid and administered mouth-to-mouth while a woman performed chest compressions. I also did chest compressions and stuff like that, but she helped me time it down. She's lovely, lovely lady. And then yep. How late? Like somebody asked, Hal tweeted about the incident saying, just did CPR for the third time in life. What a night. And they took him away. He was breathing on his own. Hope he makes it. Now later, everybody needs to take a CPR class. Out of 200 people, only 2 of us knew CPR. And okay, enough preaching. I need a nap. Also, they helped me get to my flight, which was lovely of them because I was going to miss it, obviously, because of this thing. And I think it was Delta. They were nice enough to help me reroute through there. But anyways, so Physicians Strong, look out, Rita. Physicians Sans Frontières is my fault.
Is Doctors
fucking asshole
Without Borders really? And if they are, who's giving them the money? I think they should spend it on bandages and eye things.
Eye things? Bandages and eye things.
Now, per their website, some of their corporate donors, you're never going to believe it, Google, Microsoft, Bill Gates, and Bloomberg.
Why is my name not on there? Well, because I'm not a corporation. I'm just a great human being.
Now, are they knowingly funding this? I mean, we don't know. But is this what the WEF calls?
Yes, they are knowingly funding a medical organization that looks beyond borders and makes sure that people survive in very dangerous situations, especially in refugee situations or in migrant marches or in war zones, all kinds of stuff.
All to private business brought them. Now, going back to their detailed map, the detailed routes are charted here, where you go, okay, directly right in to Mexico.
First of all, fuckhead, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Don't give me this shit unless you have one path and everybody takes it. That's the path people are taking. These are their stations on the path people are taking. They know which way people are going. Secondly, there's like 9 different ones. What the fuck is this one about? In the middle of fucking nowhere. What's this shit going? What are you talking about? Look, this looks like a main traversable path that goes this way and maybe a breakaway here. But they're all over the fucking place. Yes, they're near areas, and this might shock you. They're near the paths, the roads that the migrants will walk down. In the cities, the migrants will walk through, where the people of those cities often have to deal with the elements of large migration, as far as just groups of people overwhelming their healthcare system and poverty and all kinds of other, yeah.
Okay?
No, not okay. You're an idiot. This is stupid. This is fucking ridiculous. And also, why is Muckraker putting it up when it shows this is on their website, fuckhead?
Now, Mexico is not the final destination. I know, surprise. Their next map shows detailed routes all the way through Mexico.
No, they don't. First of all, that's very detailed down here. What the ever-loving shit? Do most of these people just give the fuck up and stop walking right about here? Also, these are the main highways. These are the main roadways. They're just along those roads. But look at this shit. It's very detailed. Yes, you can stay here and never go home, and you can stay here and never go home, and you can stay here and never go home, and you can stay here and get a job, and you can stay here and get a fucking boat to fucking Venezuela.
Right here through the border, okay?
No, not okay. What about all this shit down here? Why do like 80% of the fucking routes just stop down here?
Now their next map.
Look at this shit. Look at that. The fuck? All this you know what this says? Look at the map. It is abundantly clear that the vast majority of the people that enter Mexico from the south, from South America or Central America, stay in Mexico. And not because they're being told to remain in Mexico, because they just do.
Shows, the routes through America to Canada. No, there is no other map. It ends with America.
That's because we have a functioning medical system and we have the material support available to people, migrants and the like, within our country. You don't have to walk to a free hospital or some shit like that. We're literally responsible for, if somebody dumps you, hospitals have to take you in and care for you, which is not the case in most South American countries and Mexico.
Now, I'm curious, does Doctors Without Borders know that they're contributing to human trafficking? Do they
Look, humans in traffic is not human trafficking.
know that the cartels are making $2,000 a head for each illegal migrant?
Well, not after Title 42. The business model has been destroyed. It just takes a little time for it to cool off.
Do these Doctors Without Any Borders know this?
They don't care. They're only taking care of the humanity. They're not doing the politics of it. They're the ones making sure that people just don't die. Hey, okay, Glenn, the option is that it goes from human trafficking to human corpse trafficking. The only way that Doctors Without Borders would be complicit in this situation is if they were helping to harvest kidneys that were brought into the United States and given, were sold on the market to people who needed the kidney.
Can they even really call themselves doctors if
Yes. If they're providing medical care with no strings attached, the fuck is wrong with you?
they're leading to so much destruction, death, and rape? I don't know. Do they know that terrorists could be using these routes with all of this infrastructure to infiltrate our country?
I suppose so. But let's say this terrorist has got a child with them that they're using as a ruse or something to get through, or they're going to sell this kid, and the kid is sick. And this person doesn't care about this kid. They'll just kill it and then find another one. But there are these doctors along the way, and people are always checking with these groups, and then they bring this kid in, and this person is getting treated, and while he's being treated, the doctors that are there talk to this kid and find out that the guy with him is not his father, and that he's a bad man who does bad things, and then that person gets arrested because the doctors are there to intervene. What the fuck does he think the point of a doctor's intervention is?
You know, I don't think they care.
Jesus, I know you don't. What the fuck?
Doctors Without Borders has a strange relationship, shall we say, with terrorist groups. A statement they released on humanitarian negotiations revealed they, quote, paid an al-Qaeda-affiliated militia $10,000 per project registration fee to continue working in Somalia.
Yes, they had to bribe the local warlords to keep working there. Jesus Christ, have you never seen Spies Like Us? These are the Yusufzad. They're our allies. Cut to both of them hanging upside down, about to be stabbed in the head and bled out. And then the British doctor comes out and goes, this is Doctors Trowbridge and Greenberg. Please cut them down. Of course they do. How we don't care about brown folk unless we need to blame them for problems. Heather, I disagree. You and I don't, and I am not Glenn Beck, and neither are you. And so I will not allow myself to be grouped in with this pasty motherfucker. Yeah, Spies Like Us is a comedy. However, Dan Aykroyd wrote it, and Dan Aykroyd is a stickler for detail.
Oh, so they'll fund terrorism.
No, they won't. This is the fucking hell. Like, during Trump's time, we talked about this with the Major today. During Trump's time in office, we gave $3 billion a year to Kim Jong-un so that his people don't starve. So Glenn not only says that Trump is a fascist, globalist, and aids and abets terrorism, but he also is responsible for the genocide of large swaths of the North Korean population.
Are we really to believe that nifty little maps aren't enabling terrorists?
Are we to really believe that terrorists need a fucking map? Seriously, what fucking terrorist gets dropped off from fucking the mountains outside between Pakistan and Afghanistan, gets boated over, what the fuck, rides in the hull of some shipping container ship, and then ends up in fucking the Panama Canal, hops out, and he's on a mission to go kill Americans, and he's like, fuck, I walked to Brazil. Shit. Oh. Pardon, do you have a problem? Yeah, I got a thing in America, and I can't find my way up there, and I was, here's a map. Oh, fuck, lucky me. Jesus Christ. You know, do you think terrorists can't find the fucking United States or don't know what the route is? If they've got the internet just like you do, you tit.
Muckraker also obtained this map. This one's from the UN's International Organization of Migration. Each one of these cute little dots here represents consulates and commissions that migrants can navigate, in between their way up to the United States.
Right, where they can register as asylum seekers and go through the legal process and either be allowed in the country or denied, instead of just storming the fucking border or being used by cartels or being raped or being fucking sold or any of that shit, you dumbass. That they set these things up to particularly to protect this particular group of people.
Now, from the IOM UN website, they believe that it is now time to harness the powers of migration. Now, I thought this was all about helping the oppressed people in the world.
Asshole, they're making your argument that only people that have certain skills that will benefit the country should be allowed in at all. You don't even know when they're on your fucking side.
This kind of sounds like a different kind of motive, doesn't it?
A practical one? Well, also, for the record, the other thing that you're saying is a motive is just made up in your fucking empty dome, so...
Check this out. It is clear that the Sustainable Development Goals cannot be reached without safe, orderly, and regular migration. Regular migration, well, everybody's coming up here. Maybe we can go to a special camp, ourselves.
What the fuck?
Are they preparing a surprise for us?
No, they're not, you dipshit. Regular means orderly. I mean, it's the same thing. Safe, orderly, regular. This balanced, shaped. They got a process. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. No, yes, Glenn, they're going to put you in a work camp. And every fucking day, they're going to go, can we turn this into a fucking... a camp that does something else? Because this asshole is incapable of doing anything. Every task we give this fucker, he screws it up.
So this is really about Agenda 2030, which...
Oh, God. It's not Agenda 21? Whatever happened to Agenda 21? Or Jade Helm? I mean, come on. Weren't they supposed to take over by now?
Remember, is a complete conspiracy theory, except it's on all the websites. And the Great Reset, which again is another conspiracy theory, except you can find it on the WEF website.
Yeah, but the way they regard it, as far as like fixing some of the countries that are completely crashed and restructuring the debt they could never get out of, that they've been put in by dictatorships and warlords and that kind of stuff, finding some way to kind of even them out so they can start fresh because it's not the people's fault with a bunch of these countries, and just forgiving the debt in the middle of it, which is essentially what the Great Reset was about in terms of the WEF, is not the same as we're all gonna fucking eat bugs, you tit.
Now, who funds this transformation of American life, culture, society through the UN?
Us?
Well, you're going to be happy to know you do.
Right, of course. Also, the UN doesn't make this happen. And this is our idea. Asshole, one of the ways we limit mass migration, especially mass unregulated migration, is to help some of these countries reset and get back to some sense of sustainable life, to be able to grow some on their fucking own. What, you think we paid climate reparations because of liberal guilt? No, because if the structures of a lot of these countries just collapse, these fuckers are going to be stampeding across your border. That's how it works.
The United States of America, nobody gives more money to the UN than us.
Yeah, because we're awesome.
Now, here's a map from Muckraker that was distributed by...
Does Muckraker do all of your fucking homework, Glenn? Is that how this works? You just kind of go and you just find some incendiary, bloviated bullshit pretend study that has aha in the title, and then you just rip it off as if it's your own, and then stand there like it talking sarcastically like it was all your idea. Thanks, Jeff.
By the Red Cross, Oh my gosh, I thought they only did nursing stuff. No, they'll help collapse our country too. They want a piece of this. Now, it shows freight train routes where illegals can hop aboard and ride all the way to the U.S.
No, that it shows routes where they do hop on the rails and ride all the way.
Well, actually, not to the U.S. The train stops. Everybody off, because the cartels are there waiting for them to pay their $2,000 to cross. Isn't it great?
That's because of Title 42.
And who are the biggest funders of the Red Cross? Yeah, you're going to love this. Ooh, American Airlines, Walmart, Walgreens, donors committing and or raising $1 million or more, the Coca-Cola Company, Fox, Target, and on and on and on.
It's the Red Cross, you fucking asshole. Okay, can I just say that this is how you get proof that this prick has never done anything to help anyone else in his life unless it was a PR stunt. After blaming Physicians Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, and the Red Cross for our migration issue, and not Donald Trump's Title 42 plan, which, again, made it legal for you to cross as many times as you want until you get through without it being a ding on your record. And we go back to the original plan, and you can only go, if you're caught twice, you can never be a citizen, and you'll get thrown out automatically, and your asylum claim will never be heard. We're back to that now, which is why migration is slowed by 50% this month alone after a spike, because everybody had their one shot and we caught them and they all went back and then it just dropped off. That's how this shit works.
But what happens after the illegals arrive at the border? Well, after they pay off their cartels and then they cross the border.
Excuse me. Why would they pay off the cartels if they're being trafficked? Also, why would a terrorist pay a cartel member if it was Doctors Without Borders that gave them the map? Why don't they just... They're terrorists. I mean, why wouldn't they just kill one of the cartel guys and take their gun and use it, I suppose?
The answer is both shocking and infuriating.
No. Well, only because you're speaking. I don't think it's because of the content of it. It's literally a mix of your voice and your fucking ridiculous attitude and your weird kind of like shit TED Talk leaning on your own chair.
Under Joe Biden, the Border Patrol processes, remember the little green things? They process all the illegals and then mostly release them to other NGOs. And at this point, poof, David Copperfield. I can't find them.
Bullshit. Then why are you complaining about them being put in schools? Or why are there these camps in New York and in Chicago where they're all housed and they have to be, on a cold winter night, they had to be put inside of schools because you know exactly where the fuck they are. Do you know where the Catholic Charities is? Yes, you do. Well, those folks keep track of them. Now, one of the reasons why you can find where these fuckers are, but it takes some work. You know why? Because assholes that watch the blaze will kill them.
The Heritage Foundation recently tracked cell phone activities of migrants crossing the border.
So I guess you can.
Going to some of these private NGOs. These cell phones revealed here activity at all major immigration NGOs in border states from all across the southern border.
That makes sense since they're passing out like information on call us if you're making an asylum case or you need a lawyer and that kind of stuff and you're in the country, they're going to reach out to them. Yeah.
The migrants are then placed on buses and then spread all over
by Greg Abbott
the country.
Yeah, fuck you, Greg Abbott.
Let me show you this map. It's exciting. It shows the routes that the illegals are taking.
No, it doesn't. It shows the major highways in the country over a I don't see a time. Yeah, I don't see it. There's no time based on this. It's just kind of numbers. And by the way, related to these NGOs, so anybody who works there also qualifies. So wherever their phone is pinged, this is where like somebody down here calls somebody up here. It's the same fucking thing. Fuck
including
off.
Their destinations.
Well, then I guess we do know where they are.
Now, this sure don't look like an invasion to me.
No, it doesn't. It looks like most of them are staying in Texas. Except the ones that have relatives in Seattle.
The Valverde Border Humanitarian Coalition is one of the main NGOs. They're moving illegals into the country. Everybody says, oh, Greg Abbott in Texas got to stop sending people. They're not the ones. These NGOs are.
Well, they're just sending them to Texas to be processed and then helping them find an NGO. But it's him that's dumping them in the middle of cities with no safety net, no organization. If there are immigrants getting lost, it's because someone puts them on a bus to someplace that doesn't know they're coming with no plan once they get there. If there's a single terrorist event that's caused by an alleged migrant in this country, it's going to come back to a bus that Greg Abbott put them on where they just ended up in a random city where they just found a fucking burner phone and called some, member of their cell and got at it.
This is a normal day at this NGO in Texas. Crowds of illegals waiting on their buses.
No, it's not a normal day. This is 12/11/23 to 12/16. This is the weekly total that they're talking about. CBP released 3,197 individuals to their group. Okay. Yeah, 3,000 people in a country of 340 million ain't a lot. And that was at the peak. December was the peak. That's the highest number. And now it's dropped by half.
Just to be shipped somewhere in the United States.
Well, no, they know where they're going to send people. It's the only time they're ever sent randomly is when Greg Abbott does it.
Another day. And we could do this all day long. It's never ending.
Yeah, it is. Also, there's a lot of kids and women there. I don't know. I'm just saying, if that's the invading army, I'm not worried.
Their numbers are shattering records every month. Where are they going?
No, they're not shattering records every month. They broke a record in December, but every other month they've been going down. And one of the only reasons, and you'll like this. This is kind of like how Trump won Iowa. The only reason they had as many contacts during the month of December is because there were more people down there than at any point. We had more agents on the border starting in December than at any time in our history. So, of course, more guys are going to see the same people, and the same people that you're walking, this guy actually arrests that person, but two other people saw him and go, I saw a person too. And then they don't coordinate, and suddenly one person is three.
Oof, don't worry about them.
That's why there's only 3,000 people at that thing, not 65,000 like they pretend.
Where are they from? Well, besides South America,
which is obviously, you know what that means.
Buses host illegals from Africa.
Ew. Africa? How dare they?
China.
Yeah. Now the question is, does Glenn think that this person is escaping the CCP and therefore he'd be for it? Because what would you do? Or does he think they're a mole for the CCP and they're going to change America into a commie state? Probably the latter.
Russia, and on and on and on.
Yeah, a lot of smart people fled Russia.
I saw that guy from, he was from the Middle East. He's like, you don't know my name. You'll certainly will know my name soon. Oh, that's...
Why does that guy have that guy from the Middle East has a Russian accent? Also, he was caught.
It sounded great. Really, it does. Before Texas began directing these buses to blue states and cities, it wasn't clear where they were going.
That's because they weren't going anywhere yet. They were still being processed. He interrupted that process and dumped them.
The political maneuver appears
that's all, folks,
to be working. Democrats in their strongholds, in their sanctuary cities are like, ow, make it stop. Yeah, that's what we've been feeling on the border for a long time now.
Okay, you haven't lived on the border for a long time now. I'm pretty sure he lives outside of Austin. He used to live in Colorado. He moved, I think, to Texas for to hope that it would make him more macho. And when it didn't take, he was like, "Well, at least Alex Jones is more bloated than I am." So
Where will all these illegals ultimately end up?
either they'll be expelled because they don't meet the asylum requirements, or they will meet the asylum requirements and therefore be able to get a work permit, then perhaps a visa. Then they'll have a 2-year period where they could go back to their own country, or they could actually become citizens in like 10 years.
Your mood's not going to improve.
You're right, because I'm in a pretty good mood, actually. Yeah, feel pretty good. You know why? Because even as frustrating as this whole conversation is, there's a gift in it. There's a gift. There's a thought that drifts across my transom as I watch it that makes me feel a lot better. And it's just knowing that I will never be this bigoted or stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good that there's a floor. Each of us is like, I'm probably capable of terrible, terrible things. And I certainly am. But I think there's a floor, that I'm just not going to go below, And that's nice, because I get to look at it and go, ugh.
I recently did a documentary for Blaze TV on the
Sorry, it's just funny to me. Documentary and Blaze TV in the same sentence.
land development that houses thousands of illegals just a few minutes outside of Houston.
Oh, so you could find some of these people. And how's that working?
At Colony Ridge.
Really? The ironically named Colony Ridge.
Yeah, it's like a third world country, and it's all
It's like a third world what?
Yeah, it's like a third world country. And
I don't know. Maybe I'm missing out. What's that like? What's I mean, I would imagine again, it's like pizza, even when it's not great. It's fantastic.
and it's all legal, and it's happening all over the United States. Now, for the global.
Hold on. No, it isn't. Wait, was that the end of this fucking shit? Wait. It just dies there?
Your mood's not going to improve.
Okay, yeah, this is the tail end of it.
I recently did a documentary for Blaze TV on the land development that houses thousands of illegals just a few minutes outside of Houston at Colony Ridge. Yeah, it's like a third world country, and it's all legal, and it's happening all over the United States. Now, for
okay, let's just end on this thought, if I might. And chat room, I adore you guys. Can I just say, Glenn Beck is like a third world country, and I'm just saying in general, mainly because of the smell. It's the smell. No, it's not like that all over the country. And also, even when it's in this in the United States, it's not a third world country.
A ninth world country, not a third world country. A ninth world country.
That's right, a ninth world country.
Here I am like an idiot.
So we made it. That was rough. Boy, was that a bunch of shit. Glenn, you're a bigot and an asshole and a fool, and the only upside of that video, besides the fact that I think we all feel better about our own character, even like, boy, a lot of us are like, wow, I used to think I was a bad person. I, had a tricky upbringing and some questionable reactions to things over time, and I've made mistakes as a human being. But thank God there will always be Glenn Beck to be a tuning fork for shit, so that I will always know, hey, there, but for my own fucking grace, go I. Oh, I just got a delivery at the door. That's so weird. I'll get it later. Called Glenn a tit, and well, I inferred that he was. Yeah. And I know it's like calling him an asshole. It's rude to assholes, you know, because assholes are useful.